Hello, universe. I have been waiting to bring the guest you are about to enjoy onto my podcast since probably episode 50. So 452 episodes overdue. The son that is my ally in friendship makes an appearance that I'm very moved she would take the time out to partake in my insanity and frivolity as it manifests in these recordings. And no doubt I have been a misjudger of many things for the last 6 months, but one thing I do not misjudge is the importance of valued friendship. And I have at least one in this universe on whom I can count, and who in every instance imaginable could count on me for whatever I could provide to make their burden easier. And so with that level of connectivity, I say, hello. Hope you're having a great day and enjoying friendships of your own. And here's my conversation with Allison about how I've lost my sense of humor and what I can do about it. Enjoy. Hello, universe. It has been a while since I've recorded because, frankly, I've waited all this time for a very important guest. And I had my 500th episode flare up, and it would seem like I was going to actually have a 500th episode with you, but I kept feeling like I was forcing that. So when the thing with my sister came along, I thought I'll take the pressure off us, because I don't think we need the pressure of a 500th episode. I just enjoy your commentary so much that I wanted to include you on these reasons I thought I'd lost my sense of humor, so that somebody is holding me accountable to all the ways that I'm just filling my head full of shit. And you're very good at that.
Or maybe you are losing your sense of humor.
Well, there is an argument to be made, or I wouldn't be making it. However, I do think that in the long run, I came down on the realization that nothing really can cost me my sense of humor. There is only myself tolerating my own failure to utilize my sense of humor as a weapon against all the chaos that the world throws at me. When I feel overwhelmed, I feel like I'm not funny.
Yeah, nobody is. Yeah.
I think this summer overwhelmed me a little bit, but the fact is, I'm always funny, Alice. So what am I talking about? Come on, there's my sense of humor. Fuck, I'm the funniest man alive. Anyway, so Allison, you've never been on my podcast, and no, I feel bad about that, because now that I'm 502 episodes in, you're long overdue. But the thing I most value about you is, one, you put up with me. Mm-hmm. And you've done that for, 2 years now almost?
Yeah.
Maybe even longer?
Just about, yeah.
Whatever it's been, I know that there have been enough moments of discord that a lot of other people would have just written me off, but you didn't, and that matters to me, because I know I can be overwhelming, and I know I can be a lot to put up with, and I know I'm also at times more than anybody wants to deal with. And so the fact that you're persisting with me is one thing that I really admire about you. And number two, I've never ever gotten bad advice from you, or felt like you gave me anything but the sort of reasoned criticism, or the pointed redirection, or just, hey, have you looked at yourself this way? Because I don't know if you have. Moment of reality that I don't get a lot from anybody but my real friends. So when I say you're my only friend, it's because you really know me well enough to give me good criticism.
Yeah.
Which is why I really brought you in for this whole project. I just think you're the perfect person to tell me that I've got to get over unauditable elections today, because I have no say in that game. It's just the way the world works. And I would agree with you. But before we get to them, is there anything at all that you should say?
Well, thank you for saying those nice things. But
well, you deserve them. 100%.
I just like to be just a complete, honest, and open book person.
Yeah, you do.
And I don't really feel like there's any reason to ever be any other way. But
well, and I admire that in you, and I also think that there's a strength about you, because you just refuse to back down, or just there's no compromise in you except the compromises you're willing to make. And because of that, you will fight for the smallest and the largest of things that matter to you. And you've taught me to be a lot more, to believe in myself in a way, to be honest. Sure. And I really believed in myself, I thought, to the max. So the fact that you came along and showed me that there was a level at which you could be forthright and still show confidence in a way that was, I don't know, I want to say steel braced. You're not someone the wind will knock down. Yeah. And I was somebody who the wind could blow a different direction, and I might just follow that direction. So seeing the way that you hold yourself up against gale forces against, gave me a new confidence, and one that I really do appreciate.
Well, thank you. That's a very nice thing to say.
Well, you've worn well on me, Allison, and I hope in the long run that I'll give all your saying.
You can make 2 of those if you want.
I would love to. I would give.
You have one hand.
I would. Come on.
I mean, I can help too. But.
And so here's another reason, though, that I have to at least mention why I've taken this long to get back to this is I did get into a car accident with my bike, which is not a winning formula, and I've been laid up for 2 weeks because of it. And frankly, you coming to break the monotony of that situation is greatly appreciated. So I figure this is only part 1 of what we'll end up talking about, just because I know how much time you've got committed. But the idea that you could be a repeat guest in my podcast universe would do nothing but make me sing songs. So maybe I originally said it this way on purpose. So
I don't know what kind. I've never heard you sing, but
well, you don't want to hear me sing. Let's hear you sing. You're the one who can sing.
No.
All right. Well, how's that look? About right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that one's yours.
I mean, you're however you make them.
Hey, you can always add more of this if you want, or that's empty. Good job. That's root beer milk if you want some of that.
Root beer milk? Is that a thing that they make?
Yeah, up at Sprouts, they're pretentious enough to serve root beer milk. Fuck them. I'll drink
crazy.
it.
Is that
you,
like?
Allison.
Yeah. Cheers. Is that like root beer in milk?
Well, I'm gonna have to here. I hope you don't mind taking a swig right out of the bottle, but take a swig of that. That's some good shit.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big root beer fan. I just wanted to smell
Fair
it.
enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any anti-root beer activity out of you. All right, so the theme today is 69 different ways that I felt like I actually was losing my sense of humor.
How did you land on 69?
Well, because I wanted to land on 50. I wanted to land on 500, which I did. I wrote out 500 of these sometime in July, August.
A conversation that we have quite often at work, Cisco and I at least, not to interrupt you, but is how you took the time to write everybody a letter.
Yeah.
When you left. And I
got to know everybody enough to write you a letter.
Yeah.
Like I knew everybody by name.
Yeah, it's crazy to...
I will never do anything like that again.
Yeah, well... It still left a mark. I mean, Cisco thinks about it all the time,
Well, here's the thing that I thought of when I was leaving there. I mean, I thought a lot of things when I was leaving there, but the thought of leaving everyone behind was, I only want to see the best happen for all of you. And in getting to know all of you at some point, I thought to myself, that person inspires me to be better. Like,
yeah, that's
you all were worthy of recognition in my point of view, and nobody there cared enough to recognize everybody for their own individuality and what they gave to the place. I felt like when I left, at least I could show everybody that somewhere along the line, I noticed that you had done enough to stand out, to me at least.
Yeah, that's cool.
Except, I did harsh on a couple of people, but they deserved it.
Yeah, but they deserved it, yeah. Who'd you harsh on?
Well, Phoenix. I felt bad about Phoenix's card, to be honest.
I wish I got to read it. I didn't. Maybe he did. I don't remember.
Phoenix's card was about how if you don't treat women with the respect they deserve, they will go away.
Yeah, that's right.
And since I hadn't seen him do one thing respectful toward Brisa the whole time we'd been there,
yeah,
I thought maybe it was time he, got his shit together. If he
I
really
think they live together now.
Well, I hope they do. I think they might be terrific for each other, but he could be a much more public strength of cooperation than he showed me.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't want to be it because they were both working at the same place.
Listen, I did all kinds of shit in my 20s, none of which did I necessarily even know what I was doing. But in my opinion, they seem to have a good start. And so if I was going to give him some advice, it would be respect the fact that this isn't a given. You should earn this. You should be a good guy.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is I think he is that good guy when they're not at work. I think he didn't show public displays of affection because he was just trying to not make make it a big deal that they were together at work because they really didn't want a lot of people to know. They kept it under wraps for a long time.
Yeah, listen, I'll say
this.
I would rewrite his and probably be nicer.
I thought you didn't use people's names.
I don't. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay.
I've had Risa on the podcast before. I've certainly brought up Phoenix before.
Okay.
So we're going to limit the names. Rules. You're the one that brought up a name I've never used before, and we're not going to rename it just because I don't want to be gratuitous and talk about, alternative cooking vegetable spreads.
Okay. Well, he's cool with everything. I mean,
Crisco?
Yeah.
I like him too.
Yeah.
I like everybody.
Just at his house last night.
Yeah. No, you're a party. You're a rager. You definitely get your party on more than I do. All right. So the point is, between us, I think the rapport that we share is one of at least direct honesty and one of at least believing the world, though it may be fucked up, has an opportunity to get better. You may not be as optimistic there as I am, but that'll be ironic considering you're the one that I'm using to hold me accountable on a list of things that made me feel less than
I kind of take
fulfilled.
that back. I know I did say that before, but I've met some people... not like anybody monumentally, but I just have stumbled upon people in my life as of late that really aren't that terrible, that have good human compassion. And I've seen some compassionate things with, strangers and just more so than I had seen the last couple of years. So
good.
Maybe that...
You're saying your random fabric of quilting the universe has shown you more upswing than downswing lately?
Yeah.
I would agree
Maybe
with that,
that's what I'm looking for. Maybe that's why I'm seeing it, but...
Well, when I lay there prone and fucking hurt, knowing I was hurt, it was amazing to me how many people walked past me without even asking if I was okay.
Oh.
And it was at least 80%.
Oh,
and of the 20% who stopped, most people stopped to make sure that that they didn't need to call me an ambulance, which was considerate. But you'd think, I've been here 10 minutes, and you actually walk up and say, do you need an ambulance?
Yeah.
And to me, it's weird because it's like, well, I've been here a while, and maybe you just came up on the scene. But all the time, there were two people who came up and were very helpful, who said, are you okay? Can you prove to me that you can move your hand?
Yeah.
Will you at least sit up so that I can see that you can... Are you conscious? Can you follow me with your eyes?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is somebody who is at least saying, before I say no to an ambulance for you, you're going to prove to me that you're conscious.
Right. So
and somebody's on their way for you. And then when my sister showed up, everyone thought my sister hit me. Because she's coming up to me going, hey, you okay? And they're like, what happened here? And I was like, she's the one here to take me to the hospital. She's fine.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty funny.
But,
it's not funny, but I have a similar... years and years ago when I was battling my one of the boyfriends that I have, that it was just this horrible interaction where he was dragging me with his vehicle. But it got pretty graphically horrible. But there was all these people, and that was the worst part. That's what I remember about that whole situation, because we were in a complex, like a parking lot.
Sure.
And there was a park, whatever. But it was Step in Broomfield, but there's a bar down at the end of the parking lot, and there was all these people outside smoking cigarettes watching it happen. And I was screaming for my life.
Like you're the entertainment
and nobody did a thing. And then finally, 10, 15 minutes later, this guy came around the corner from 7-Eleven and just happened to see, and he's the one that finally called the cops and intervened and all that and tried to help me. But it just was crazy. It was such a horrible feeling to see all these people and nobody do a damn thing.
And again, it's not like the lines of morality are unclear here. At least to me. It's like I'm prone on the sidewalk with a bicycle laying next to me clearly wrecked.
Right.
And 80% of the people that walk past me don't even bother to ask if I'm okay. Like I'm some sort of performance art?
Well,
honestly.
Yeah, but you also have to think, especially here, where I'm at on Colfax, you gotta, these people that are out of their minds, living on the street, whatever, they're screaming. They're acting like, I have this one girl that stays somewhere in a bush by my place because she's there every other week or so. She's screaming bloody murder that she needs help, but she doesn't actually need help. She just wants somebody to pay attention to her. And people just get so used to that And they don't want to interact with all these people that
it's
are
like how many people
on the street.
respond to a car alarm.
Well, it's like fucking the boy who cried wolf type thing, you know? You don't really know, and you don't want to interact with
how do you know this
all
isn't
these
some sort of fucking gimmick?
Yeah,
where now you're the victim.
right.
I'm going to pull you down in some sort of like
some other guy's going to jump out of a bush, or I mean,
you're right, and
the people just don't want to get involved these days.
Well, oddly enough, we'll get to that. So let's start. Number 69, I put as a very deep lead in because, frankly, I'm not really sure how much of this I agree with. But the 69th reason that I think I lost my sense of humor is it's better to be alone than to be with someone and be miserable.
Well, that's absolutely true.
You obviously have a lot to say about this in the very most recent sense.
Fucking A, yeah. I mean, there's nothing more true than that.
Okay. Let me throw in the one counterpoint that the last 2 weeks has forced me to consider. And I've always considered the idea of living alone is that you open yourself up to the dumbest possible deaths of all time.
I know.
Where you literally get yourself stuck in the corner of your attic and your ankle's stuck, but you just can't twist your leg enough to be freed. So you scream out, but nobody can hear you because you're in the wrong corner of the attic. The only people could hear you in the alley. Nobody would take you seriously anyway. And you starve to death up there.
Right now.
My point is that is an extreme example of just what living alone exposes you to, which is, frankly, if anybody else had been within shouting distance, I don't suffer anything other than the embarrassment of the activity.
Yeah.
But because I'm alone.
Right. I've thought about that a lot lately because of my health and things that have happened. Like, I mean, I might die because there's nobody there to call an ambulance or to.
Yeah, from a simple slip and fall.
Yeah.
It knocks you out.
Well, not even that, but like, let's say I do, God forbid, have a heart attack or have whatever.
Have a real medical issue.
Yeah, and like, I can't do it, but if somebody was there with me, they would see that I needed help and they would call in and I might survive it. Sure, 911
gets called immediately.
I might survive it, but otherwise I won't.
But you can't reach your phone because it's plugged in and you're
right,
too
or I'm passed out, or I'm, who knows.
So there's the one instance that I can say, maybe it's better to compromise. But you still say, fuck that.
Absolutely fuck that.
Because the living that you would live, even for that moment of help during your dying
it's not even worth
trial.
It's not even worth it.
It's such bullshit.
I'd
rather die.
Because I've thought to myself, I just needed to get ahead. I needed to save money. Like, I know I don't always get along with this guy, but fuck it. We're hanging out anyway.
Right. I'm going to make this work.
Even if it's for a few months or whatever. How bad could it be? But I did not think of all the possibilities of how bad it could actually be. And let me fucking tell you, it was miserable.
So, if you just had to quantify the one thing you least expected to be miserable that turned out miserable, what would it be?
The fact that he would turn into a psychopath.
So it was him, his mood swings on a whim.
Well, like if he didn't get what he wanted, like if I didn't give it to his sexual advances.
Like a tantrum?
Yeah, oh, absolutely like a tantrum. And he would be screaming like a child.
Really?
I mean, and he has this deep voice and just... like to the point and the loudness that everybody in the building, I'm sure, could hear him. And just like screaming all kinds of crazy shit. Shit. Every single night.
Cringeworthy.
Every single night I dealt with that for the past 30 days, just about.
Holy crap, Ola.
Oh, God. To the point where I wanted to call the cops. Then, on top of that, he started... like pushing, not physically pushing me, but bumping into me, trying to entice me to punch him.
Letting you know his physical presence is here?
No. Trying to get me so worked up to punch him.
Oh,
so
in other words, inviting the retaliation.
So he could call the cops on me.
Like trying to get the penalty
trying to get kicked out of my house or get a domestic violence charge.
God. Yeah,
God.
Some nonsense game after head game after physical game after.
And if that didn't work, then he'd call his mom and speak on speakerphone so loud about all the fucking obnoxious things that he thought about me and
the injustices of life.
Yeah, because I wouldn't let him have sex with me or sleep in the bedroom.
The most passive-aggressive maneuver.
Oh my God! And then he'd be all nice, like 10 minutes later. Can you talk to me like a baby, like acting like he wanted to have sex and all this stuff? I'm like, get the fuck away from me! And then he just turned right back into it. It was just insanity.
Well, we'll think about that one for later.
Yeah, so it's much better to be alone. Trust me, especially in that. I mean, I'm just saying because that's a potential that I did not think of.
Well, the true calling here for me is I've actually run into some pretty decent candidates, as it were, but none of them.
That's what you think now, though.
Well, what I'm saying is no. Just in this summer's exploration of going out and meeting people, I've probably got 3 or 4 legitimate numbers that I consider dateable material.
Right.
But of those 3 or 4, they've all got limitations already. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right, but I'm just saying, imagine that now, like, diving into that even further, and then all of a sudden start living together. Yeah, and I'm saying, like, you don't know.
In other words, you're just at the fucking thin ice stage.
You haven't
even fallen into the goddamn water yet.
Yeah, like talk about surface.
So my point is, if I'm this trepidatious just with the surface level agitation that exists for these 7s and 8s,
then it's probably
then what's the fucking point, right?
Well,
like it's doomed from the get-go.
Right. Well, I mean, no, but probably
indeed.
Just because everybody fucking sucks. Sorry, that's
all right.
The kind of thing I have right now.
Well, that was number 69.
Okay.
Number 68. Disinfo, misinfo, malinfo. Call it whatever the fuck you want. The fact that there's even 3 categories that are uniquely different in what they imply in terms of lying, to me, just blows me away.
Well,
the idea that I can say something true, but because it conflicts with the stated goals of the State of the Union, it can be considered malinfo, and I can be held liable for that speech as something denigrating to the community. It's the fucking truth.
Yeah, a prime example, okay, so this Trump supporter that was living with me, anytime that we would get in an argument about, I'm talking about factual evidence, okay?
Sure.
Things that actually factually happen, then his claim would be, well, that's just not, that's not true. Where did you get that? On the news? And that's all fake. All news is fake. Now, nobody reports, mainstream media does not report any true news. Are you fucking kidding me? So, yeah, they might gear stories towards what they want listeners to hear, or they might focus around things. But you are not telling me that BBC and any news outlet that I fucking referenced, all of them were fake. All of them were pretend news.
Well, I think if you're not savvy enough in today's media environment to think whatever you're hearing has got bias inherent in its delivery structure.
But that's just being able to read somebody.
Not an adult.
Yeah, but that's just being able to read somebody.
But to undermine the entire enterprise of sharing of information as just one diluted misinformation attack.
Yeah, because of this guy. Because of this motherfucker. Come on.
How can you watch the events of a very given outcome and argue that there aren't legitimate absolute facts that exist A to B in that occurrence of activity? There just are. Real facts exist. And the idea that people will deny and continue to blame some sort of massaging of the information against us to the greater good, to me, again, it should disappear entirely. If something is a lie, it's a lie. If it's the truth and inherently stable, it will stand the attacks that come against it. If it's false, it won't.
Well, that's the thing. That's the only way that they're able, the way I look at it, it's got to be the only way that they're able to rationalize following this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's to say shit like that.
I've got him just to leak a little of our information in the top 10.
Well,
his name specifically.
Have you heard or seen on YouTube? There's this guy, and I don't know, I have to look it up, but he's made it animated, but he's a comedian, and he walks around and he has all these interactions with all these Trump supporters at like Trump events or whatever, and then he animates them and record, he records them, and then they're animated, and he makes all these people look like the most ridiculous, ugliest, fattest, stupidest people, but they're speaking in their own.
No, it's their own words.
Yeah,
yeah, and he's just
all
letting them
things.
speak in their own contagion.
It's hilarious because these people are so fucking dumb, and I have to say, most of the people that I've talked to that are so on the fucking on his side and this and that, they don't know any facts. They don't know anything about any of the issues. They don't know.
Are you saying they've been led into their opinion of Trump?
No, yeah, they think that for a stupid fucking reason. Because when you actually talk to them and try to find out why they have that outlook or why it's ridiculous. It's the most. I have a few different curses. I won't speak of it, but it's just like the dumbest fucking response I've ever heard in my life.
Well, let's save the sort of the mass of morons. I
think it's something like that.
I don't think we're going to get away from them. I believe there are people who are choosing ignorance as a platform on which to sit because it means I don't have to believe anything. I can just say it's all fucked up. Sit here and say my opinion thus is tear it all down, or believe none of it, or there is no compromise, or whatever general bumper sticker you want to adhere to a complex problem, which is we've lost our faith in the people that used to give us the facts, because anymore there's as much manipulation in the media as can be imagined.
Well, from what I've been hearing from a lot of these people is that they feel like he's the underdog, like they feel like, you know, he's unfairly and unjustly been,
because the whole press is with the Democrats.
Well, that, but like, you know, they went after him with all these felonies, you know, 34 felonies. Like, he should have never been, you know, they act like it's a witch hunt, and they feel like, look at what he's gone through for us. He's doing all of this for us, for the American people. It's like, you fucking moron. No,
for himself.
Dude. For himself.
And
he's the most selfish.
If you can't see Trump as a grifter, who the fuck are you?
And especially with this fucking guy. Like, I know I keep going back to him, but I just hate him so much. But, like, he's a Mexican guy. I mean, fucking Trump would fucking shoot you in the head or leave you dead in a ditch before
he would fucking... For him.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, it's your people he's trying to fucking get out of here. So what are you talking about, dude?
Well, the very concept that we had to quantify the informational channels within the various lies that are being disseminated. Oh my God! Talk about losing your sense of humor. All right, 67. All right, the concentration of knowledge and resources in very limited verticals now. What I mean by this is just think about what it used to be like 20 years ago to surf the web. Who knew what you were going to find? It was just, God knows where you were going to end up. It was a game of ping pong that went everywhere. Now it's like, okay, I see Forbes, I see the Financial Times, I see New York Times, I see the Washington Post, I see the Gettysburg Files, whatever it is, I see about 30 of the same publications that just keep giving me the same fucking story over and over again. And
well, yeah, but that's because of your habits online. I mean, it's all.
Give me a topic that we could look up. How about
right? But I'm saying everybody's. I'm not saying you're not being funneled there, but everybody's unique footprint to what they do online typically
gives them cultivated information.
Will corral you into the butt funnel of where you end up.
Yep, you're getting curated data based on what you'll read. I agree with that.
Yeah,
but let's take a subject like
ponder on. Yeah.
Is bread good for you? Yes or no? I mean, right? There's an answer to that.
We've looked this up before, yeah.
What's up?
I said we've looked this up before.
Okay, so let's pick a different one. How about is astrology real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Here's just a wide open question that Google's going to give me a bunch of answers for. And as I do this,
but what's the AI at the top now give you?
Fair enough. And how many of the articles that I'm seeing are the same goddamn AI agent?
You know what? I started to realize is there's a lot of articles lately that are written in AI because it almost seems like, and you know, I'm able to tell. I know it sounds fucked up, but I'm just going to be honest.
There's the AI overview.
Yeah.
Right at the top.
Well, I get the AI overview, but a lot of these articles that are even being created now are being created by AI because you can tell. At least now you can. I'm sure very shortly you won't be able to, but you can still tell the disconnect. It almost seems like I hate to say this, but a Chinese person or Asian person is writing it, you know, because they speak
There's a lack of cultural immersion.
Yeah.
They don't have the feeling of being brought up within it. They're looking at it from above.
Right. So they're thinking they're grammatically speaking correct.
But here are my first three results. They are, not counting the AI, they're Reddit, Quora, and Scientific American. Quora and Reddit used to be great resources for all kinds of niche information
but it's just a bunch
that have now just been honed into the funnel of
these
nothingness.
Are like Reddit is a bunch of fucking dudes living in their parents' basements. Like,
fair enough. Let's skip them entirely. Let's go to the next level where they start to give you the articles that exist.
Yeah, because
Wikipedia.
But that's just people giving you the answer.
Time Magazine, The Guardian. How many of these have we heard of? West Texas A&M University. You name universities, there'll be all kinds of them in here.
So what's the answer? What does they tell you?
What I'm saying is, what we're seeing is, here's space.com. And what your zodiac sign may or may not be telling you what you think it is. Okay, again, these are the sort of resources that are
well, that's more of a commercial.
They're generic. They're here to sell me fucking advertising.
Yeah, but
there's nothing interesting about them.
But that's not what it is. It's marketing. You got to go through that.
Yeah, you got to get to result 100.
That's what things are now these days. I mean,
well, it didn't used to be that way.
Well, guess what? Get over it. That's
the
way it is.
Concentration of all the shit at the top. What I'm saying is,
because people don't watch TV anymore. Okay, there used to be commercials that people would have to watch. You didn't have a choice. Now people either don't watch TV Or, I haven't had TV in like 10 years.
On demand.
Or, yeah, you fast forward through. So they gotta get you somehow. That's how they're getting you. You get sponsored ads. But you gotta filter through like you just said, you gotta be smart enough to know what.
You gotta be smart enough, A, to know what questions to ask, and B, how far down you have to go to find real truth.
Right. Well, so you gotta go a little bit.
How much of the younger generation even has these questions in their head?
Well, how do you know that? You don't know that.
Well, not a lot of them.
But, you gotta think about this, though. Think about how hard it was when we were kids to fucking find the answers. You literally had to go to your grandparents' encyclopedia and look it up, and then really that was kind of not necessarily biased because it was factual evidence, but like in what in what context are you reading it?
Sure.
Even?
Are
you even asking that question properly? Because that would be a more closed, biased answer. You know what I mean? Whereas at least now, the fact that you are giving up a little bit. So you got to scroll down like a few more to find the realness when you could just have the answer to everything in your pocket.
What I'm saying is there was a time. Yeah. There was a time when all that information was just basically vying for the interest of itself. And then Facebook and internet. Instagram and everybody else started taking over. Yahoo, YouTube, you name it. And it was curated down to the point where now it's so saccharine I don't even give a shit to look.
Right. Well, it's good old days.
So the concentration of knowledge and its access via Google and the CIA has cost me my sense of humor. Number 66. Let's see if we can get through the 60s.
Yeah.
The Obamas.
What about the Obamas?
I just feel like they're a letdown at this point. What? And here's the thing. I thought they were the hope and change of the next generation. I'll admit that's throwing too much. That's too much cultural shifting.
They didn't. They did a lot when they were in office. They changed. I had a monumental moment when he became president. When he got elected that night, I remember exactly where I was, what was happening, how everybody was reacting.
State and
and everybody else's. Everybody else's. And
I believe with you. I believe with you.
And even when he was in office. So what the guy's just supposed to keep on?
It was the beginning of another phase of possibility.
Yeah.
That then ended with drone strikes and more people dead. And I'm saying there's a machine against which even someone with Obama's charisma and potential is nothing but neutered.
Well, exactly. That's what every church has all the time.
And so has become nothing but an afterthought.
No. He was so great for what he was. That's absolutely not true in my opinion.
Okay.
You can't take away that from him because he can't. What do you think? The guy's just going to fix the fucking universe? Sort
of.
Well,
I'll admit that's too much expectation to place
for one, at least he's involved in this election. He doesn't even have to do that. But
his last comment though, I thought was completely off base.
I didn't hear it. I didn't read it, but I did read. I did listen. Her first when she was in Chicago that night, and Michelle spoke, and then he spoke after. And on
that, the DNC convention.
Yeah. That really, I felt good about that. And
I thought coming off the convention, I thought they sold Kamala well. I'll give you that. And I thought Kamala lived up to the hype for about 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, but what do you expect these people to do?
Next time run fair elections.
Look at the world we're living in.
I know, but all I want is an opportunity for somebody to come through the group and say, I'm the best because I've earned it.
Right.
Instead of us placing somebody next in line to just take.
Yeah, but look at all these people they're got to deal with on the other side, and that's half of fucking America that's fucking believing in this piece of shit. It's just insane to me. I can't even imagine wanting to run for president. I can't even imagine.
Are you joking?
Getting fucking death threats? Who was getting death threats? Wait. Let's think about this. The fucking guy that was reporting on the hurricane. The fucking meteorologist reporting on the hurricane was getting death threats. Does that even make sense?
What because of the conspiracies involved with a hurricane and weather warfare? Again, no, of course it makes no sense. Who threatens a meteorologist for telling you the weather forecast?
Exactly. Trump fucking people. That's who.
Well,
I would assume.
I'm not willing to debase America as falling all in line with Trump people, but Americans in general are just fucking morons.
I'm pretty sure it was a Trump fucking fan. Think about who else would be that dumb. That's insane to me. It's insane to me. How are you going to give somebody a death threat for being a meteorologist?
I don't even have that on my list.
Well, it's
to finish out my thought with the Obamas is, say for instance, the taint that I feel like in the sort of
taint.
The the resin that exists on somebody like Hillary Clinton does not exist on the Obamas.
Well, of
So
course not.
for me, it's like the Obamas have the opportunity to take America into the next great potential of existence,
Yeah, but
and it
you know
just
what?
didn't happen. And
Because
that's
it's
how
not their
strong-
job. It's not their job. They did the best they could, and they did a great job. But guess what? The president doesn't run the fucking country anyway.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on.
Oh, you can't do that. That's fine. Move on.
Well, no, I'm saying we're at a point where I agree the Obamas got to a point, but then they faced the kind of headwind that there just is no.
Right, that we're all going to face. I mean,
Right.
you can't. I mean, it's just not. You can't take that away from them. What they did was great. They just can't be great forever because guess what? It's not their job.
Fair enough. That's why I like having a counterpoint, for sure. My 65th point is about drug potency and its availability. Now, I'm not speaking to fentanyl particularly because it made the top 10. But I am speaking to...
Weed, marijuana?
In some degrees, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm also speaking to the ease with which just pharmaceuticals are on the streets.
No, well, that's been a problem.
Well, okay, fine, but it's just like, it's almost as if you want to be a drug addict in America right now, that's kind of available to you.
Of course it is. It's always been, but it's more
is that
readily
right?
now. Yeah, that's like, look at everybody.
As two people who have freely used drugs in our lives, do we think that's right? That there should just be street-wide access to everything from
If you want
OxyContin
to
to
fucking do
fucking
it, then you do
barbiturates?
it. Yeah, I mean, do it.
You're all for 100% legalization?
No, I'm not. Absolutely not. But I'm just saying, people are going to do whatever the fuck they want to do anyway.
Okay.
No matter what. So,
Okay.
guns, fucking drugs. I mean, no matter how available or unavailable you make it. I mean, obviously, the more available it is, the less likely you are to get some bad shit that's going to kill you, I feel like.
Well, I think the spikes of like, oh my God, that was in my fucking bag of cocaine deaths are tragic. They're just
Absolutely.
tragic.
Absolutely.
Because they don't deserve to happen and they're only happening from bad people being bad people.
Right, and it could happen to any one of us.
Yep.
You know?
It is. It's the kind of thing that will make you seriously reconsider street drugs altogether.
Right.
Is the idea of a hot spike.
Right.
Well, okay, so you can see why that would be something that would cause me to lose my sense of humor. I'm going to put 64 as blacking out. I don't know why this one made my list, except that I had a blacking out episode at King Soopers that cost me a job. And the idea of ever not knowing what I've done with myself, that somebody has to describe to me the next day, something that I have no memory of. I've had enough blacking out experiences.
Well, why
I'd
did
say
you black
4 or
out,
5.
though?
Well, I don't really know.
Were you on
Most
drugs?
of the other ones were alcohol. No, I was 100% sober for this. To
Well,
the
that's
point that I
medical.
think of it,
That's like a medical thing, though. Like,
I
you
think
can't.
of it. I think of it as a psychotic break, to be honest.
Well, it could very well be. You're a pretty psychosis.
Wow, you're being generous, but even just to me, the idea that I'd ever be in a position where my brain would not want to release to me the information that it held scares the fuck out of me. I'll just put it that way. I don't know if you've
that's
ever blacked
life.
out.
I'm not talking about blackout, but I have blocked out years of my life because of
Right.
trauma. And I mean,
You're in a whole new, different
but
end of that.
but it's the same thing. Your brain is not releasing anything. I mean, there's people. I mean, like I said, whole years of my life that I just choose to not remember. And you think that's because I actually don't want to remember it? I mean, my brain has just decided that it's easier and healthier and less heartache for me to forget it than remember it.
So then let's
It's
reverse
the same
engineer
thing, though.
that
That's
against
the same thing.
blackouts of my own.
Yeah.
My own doing means
Right.
the kind of behavior that I don't want to fucking be able to face myself with.
Possibly,
Exactly.
yeah.
Scary enough.
Well, of course it is. I mean,
Well, I actually think to myself, I'm glad I haven't had a blackout of any consequence for at least 6 years now.
yeah. Thank God it wasn't brown out either. Those are pretty messy.
Well, Allison, funny woman that you may be, I haven't shit I shit my pants one time in a job interview. That was about as embarrassing as it gets.
Wow.
But I don't have shit my pants in this list of shit because I haven't done that lately.
Wow. I won't go into detail. Not me personally, but
Let's see if we can get through the 60s, because the next one that I have is cheap fakes. And
what does that mean?
in other words, we're starting to be able to tell things that are fake video interpretation. Say somebody makes a video of Tom Cruise saying something that's false.
Yeah.
You can still tell that it's not Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but it's going to
we
be
are
very
far away
right. That's what I'm
from
saying.
that's fucking Tom
We already
Cruise
talked
saying that
about
he's
this. We just talked about this.
I'm not saying there aren't some repeats on here, but
all right, well, you got
the idea that we're going to be able to
be
cheaply fake anybody's behavior
but
scares the shit out of me.
But that goes along with just what we were talking about. I mean, we're not that far away from AI. We're not going to be able to tell. They're going to take over soon and kill us all within the next 15, 20 years, so we don't have to worry about it.
Then cheap fakes won't be that big a deal. But
they're really not.
When that happens, I just, the power that comes with being able to represent somebody either vocally or video
it's mind-blowing.
As something other than who they really are blows me the fuck away. And we are literally already in the territory. Yeah, I mean... That was something I did not see coming as a child. That's something I didn't even see coming when YouTube became huge. I didn't think about the idea that we're eventually landing in a realm of not being able to tell what's real.
Well, what about like holographic shit? What did you think was going to happen with that?
Well, I mean, it's mesmerizing to see where it's gotten to today, but when you think 20 years ago, you're like, yeah, maybe that'll be impressive, but maybe it'll just look like fucking something at a goddamn ABBA concert. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's amazing how good they've gotten at faking other people with
right, but what I'm saying is, like, think about the movies we used to watch when we were kids, and then they would come up with these holographic things where people would just snap up in, you know, like
what's his name, the Western dude?
I know, like if they're at a war table, like in some fucking dungeon basement fucking lab, and they have and then a holograph of a person standing there or whatever. Like, obviously that's not fucking real, but they're creating that. Like, did you not see this coming where they could make people... I mean, I saw this coming fucking years ago.
Well, I will just say that it has led to a hollowing out of my faith in humanity.
Well, absolutely. But, I saw it coming.
Okay. Number 62 on my list is a person who I'm not going to name, but this is the person who got me fired from my last job. Didn't get me fired, got me talked to, set down, and counseled for being too vociferous with my comedy on the side. Right? You read some of what I wrote in my...
Yeah, but I don't really think that's what happened.
So, this is one of the places where I think if you're not involved, I tell a story that may not be fair. So let's hear what you think happened so that I can then either rebut or say, yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Okay, but you ever think about this? Let's just take yourself out of it for a second, okay? Think about... And I'm not saying this is one way or another, but I'm just talking about possibilities.
Theorizing.
So let's just say maybe it had nothing to do with you, really.
And
maybe you were just being you, doing life the way you know how to do it, and maybe something else or someone else or whatever. Maybe there was a reason that people had a reason to think about the whole situation that they felt was perfectly fine and normal. And all of a sudden it got turned on its side and they had to question what was actually happening. So let's say they saw it from another angle and then they thought, well, wait, is that this? Or is that this? Like, what's actually happening here? And then they just assumed that was what it was. So they got scared.
So you're saying somebody might have thought, oh, this is funny, until they realized, wait a second, am I participating in the denigration of a coworker? In a way that would be held accountable if this were made public?
Right. Or
then this has gone too far.
Or, like, let's just say, what if this guy is crazy? What if he...
Oh, you're saying, what if these are serious words? What if this is not about a sense of humor?
Right. Or what if maybe, that's going to be very noisy.
Well, what's up?
You won't be able to hear anything with that.
Okay, so...
well, I'm just saying.
So you're saying it's possible that I was taken as... something serious in a moment where if I was being serious, then this is fucking a threat. And
absolutely.
We should not be standing on the sidelines because otherwise, how would I look if this actually came to fruition?
Right. Which you didn't plan on doing, and the person never thought that. But I'm just saying, if some element, an outside element, made them guess or question what they were actually thinking, whether they were aware of it or not.
So mom grabs Bria's cell phone and says, hey, I've got a text message. And then she looks and says, what are you doing with this? What is all this?
Well, no,
this is not good for you.
Not that, but I'm just saying in general, you just have a normal, everyday conversation with somebody where you think like, oh, this is fine, this is funny. And then something happens or some element just makes you think second guess. Because it goes down to the point where you really don't know anybody.
Okay, fair enough. And I do push humor a yardstick too far at many gaps where I'm overperforming.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where things happen where you're obviously involved in it and the outcome is to you, but I'm saying I think that happens too often where people will wonder for the rest of their life about what did I do wrong, but it wasn't you at all. It was just an element that made, whatever, her or her boss or what somebody think differently from a different perspective. And then boom, everything's so serious, and this is like, we got to have a meeting about this, and now you don't have a job.
No. Not quitting another job for no reason. Well, not for no reason.
Not for
no reason.
Yeah.
Not for no reason.
Yeah.
Not for no reason.
Right.
For the kind of reason that could have been avoided 100% by myself.
Well, yeah, but that's true to anything that doesn't go well in our lives.
But you have to understand, like, I thought I was being pretty funny.
Well, you always do. That's why Phoenix never liked you. Because he always thought that you were so fucking clever. And he did
but
not.
I am.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
You are, but see, it's that whole, like...
I understand that there's fucking risk involved.
No, but you're so, like,
I'm gonna alienate some
giddy
people
about
along the
it.
way.
And, like, yeah, that part makes it not as clever and funny.
I agree with you.
Now,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm pretty clever and I'm pretty funny, but
you and me in this conversation
say that.
worked.
I would never really say that to somebody. So,
I always say that to you.
yeah, but I'm just saying.
Because I think you're a fair judge.
Right, but I'm just saying you're pretty sure of yourself there.
Well, because
I think you
over
overcomplicate
time,
things. I think
over time,
you overcomplicate things a lot. I'm just saying.
Okay, fine.
Hey, don't get all.
Look, no. I think that's 100% fair criticism. I'm not. Listen, sometimes when you say something and it hits a nerve, I have to go. Yeah, I do overcomplicate.
Well,
I mean, I just do. Because
I mean,
by
read any one of your text messages.
I do. I'm verbose. I am verbose.
I'm sorry, but and then I'm like, oh, was he just trying to say that he has whatever?
Sometimes I'm like,
it's like,
by the way,
what the fuck?
Well,
yeah, so like if somebody
disregard all of the above.
If somebody wasn't really like knowing where the fuck you're coming from, which is a very easy thing to not. I mean, it's hard for people to actually take the time to know because it takes quite a long time to get to know somebody anyway. No matter who you are, and no matter what type of relationship you have with friends that you meet or whatever. And some of us overcome time frames for whatever reasons.
And there's another reason to have her on the list is this was just somebody who I thought I had like 90% Venn diagram overlap with. Like, I was like,
right.
Oh my God, here's somebody cut from the same fucking piece of cloth.
Right.
But and all I want here is kindred spirit. That's all I want.
Cheeky banter and,
But just the idea that the world's chaotic, but it's livable. It's even embraceable.
But that's the hollowing feeling of knowing that you never really got somebody on your side.
No, you don't.
Unless it's
and if anything, I'm the kind of person who rubs people from my side to the other side with just a single comment.
Well, that's a shitty thing to say. That's not true.
But I'm capable of that almost.
Well, sure, you're capable of that. Yeah, because you do push boundaries, and you do quite get a bit ridiculous. But
but I never have bad intent. I really don't.
Well, I know that, and I
making fun of someone.
feel that people know that 100%. And anybody that goes against that, I feel like is wrong because I feel like that's one thing that's pretty. I can see that right away that you don't have bad intent. I mean, ill will sometimes is not easily seen, but I feel like people that are genuinely not that way, for the most part, you can tell.
I would rather run away and never be seen again than cause somebody a bad day. Literally.
No, I know that about you. But, maybe some people don't.
At the same time, I inevitably cause people bad days. You know what I'm saying? And I can't turn around and run away from everybody just because I've been that guy.
Yeah, but that's not. You don't give people bad days. You don't like bad day John. I mean.
Well, I gave Bria a bad day. You know what I mean? I'm sorry for saying her name.
Stupid. That doesn't count. I don't think that's.
All right, but the idea that I could take my sense of humor, even in what I considered the sort of receptive audience that was Ed McMahon, a validation, and be that wrong.
What, you're saying you were Ed McMahon?
No, that she was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I had somebody here whose sense of what was absurd in the universe was so on target with what mine was that I was willing to expose myself on a very
vulnerable level that you thought was trustworthy or whatever.
And I was 100% wrong.
Well, no, not 100% wrong.
I was 90% wrong.
You don't know the percentage for one.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, for two, you just made yourself vulnerable in a space that maybe you shouldn't have yet. You shouldn't have been maybe so comfortable because...
I agree.
Because, that vulnerability...
A little too much trust.
God, I think this man is so attractive. Ugh. This Pedro guy or whatever from fucking Saturday Night Live.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but I know he's on a commercial now, so I'll have to check this out.
He's so fucking hot.
You go, girl. Well, yeah, we'll get to that one.
Not really usually into Pedros either.
Well, mamacitas, bueno, muy bueno. All right, let's not embarrass ourselves any further. Let's 61. I'll just put it straight up. Dating apps. Never been on them. Never wanted them, and I find their presence toxifying. I find them to be...
Well, if you've never been on them and aren't involved in them, how are they toxic to you?
Because as I watch other people's reactions based on dating apps, I find them toxic interactions.
Yeah, if they're actually looking for love. But
okay, then what's the point of a dating app? I mean, if you're just looking for fucking physical reaction, then okay, it's the same thing Backpages has been my entire life, or wherever. Just take it back as far as you want.
But
I'm fine with all of that.
All right, I'll tell you right now. So when I left my husband after he cheated on me, well, I didn't actually officially leave him yet, and I was living in the basement. Allison went into her slut phase, and you know what? Tinder was fucking awesome because not only was I at a low point in my life, but I needed that kind of gratification from all these, attention from all these men that, were somewhat attractive, I thought, until I met most of them. But, well, not most of them, the ones that I chose to meet. But still, I needed that to give me the lift that I was searching for to get me back up, for where I needed to be.
The ego boost that
yeah, exactly.
That otherwise is...
And, I got to bang a lot of people, so...
Okay.
They're not all terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think you're going to find a soulmate fucking dating online. But on Tinder, you're going to get exactly what you want.
The only online experiences I've had, and I've had two.
I don't really feel like you can speak to it then.
Fair enough. I'm a naive interloper.
Okay, but let's hear about them.
The two that I had, both were of a carnal variety. And
well, that's what it should be. It's an online date. I mean,
so
because you know
for
why?
that though, what's the difference between that and a fucking discotheque in the 70s? I mean, seriously, what's the difference? It's exactly the same, right? It's
not exactly the same.
I just want something of the now that is entertaining enough to be distracting till the next.
Well, what I realized, what the difference is like, it doesn't work for me because I am attracted to all different kinds of people. I don't have a type. There's not a certain kind of guy that, I mean, maybe there is that I favor more than others, but I'm attracted to all different kinds of people. And without that in life, like, carnal, whatever, like, interaction that you feel with somebody when you see them and you just want to...
The charge.
Yeah, like, without, or energy from talking to somebody or whatever.
Yep.
Without that, you can't fucking look at a picture and know.
Sure.
Because somebody could be hot as shit in a picture, but then you meet them and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is how you are.
In other words...
And, like, you can't see them animated in their own self, and how could you be attracted to that? So it can't be anything other than that night of pleasure or pain or whatever the fuck you want to call it after it's done. Because...
And to me, all that is for me now is avoidance. If that's what I'm out looking for, then I'm avoiding something. I'm out...
Well, sure. I mean, you could get to the deep psychosis of everything, but some people just want to fuck. I mean...
I just always regret that in the morning. I'd rather masturbate.
Well, not everybody does. Some people find validation that way. I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying, like, you're a little bit more sensitive of a person that is more in touch with, humanity and whatever.
In the last...
Most fucking dudes don't give a fuck and they just want to bang.
I get it. In the last year, the two trysts that have gone far enough to be emotionally entangled have both been just letdowns. I don't know.
Right there, trysts. I mean...
Well, in other words, the ones that were physical enough to count...
Well, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying...
And I shut myself down from 4 or 5 other opportunities just because it's like there's a level of disrespect that I feel in myself toward a circumstance that seems rather
common.
Yeah, that's a very good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the same way though nowadays. Like I used to fucking want to hang out, do whatever. I was game, but I definitely value my intimate self more than I used to.
It's like I only want to give that to somebody who's...
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. that's definitely how I feel more so every day that goes by. So
talk about something I've never been before.
Yeah, but that's okay to be that way. I mean, if anything, it's more genuine and more, special when you do find somebody.
Yeah.
But you can't also expect to, have sex again and not, I mean, it takes time to meet somebody like that. So you got to be putting yourself out there. You're not going to meet them in the confines of your home.
I'm done with one-night stands as far as I can tell. I don't think those are healthy for me anymore.
Well, I'm sure we'll
if they ever were.
All right, what do we got? What's the next one?
There's 60.
I know, but what?
Why don't you go pee, and then we'll do 60, and I think that might be enough.
Well, let's just do 60.
Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. The death of investigative reporting. Now, I will admit there's been a little resurgence here thanks to Substack's...
What about Dateline?
Okay, whatever you're going to say is investigative reporting on television,
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the reporter who would go and figure out that the CIA is selling drugs on the fucking West Coast.
Well, yeah, no.
In other words, and I have
the government would shut all that down.
But the one thing I'll say about most humans is we know when we're being lied to, and we also want the truth.
Yeah, but
almost 100%.
But we're always being lied to now.
Okay, but that's just you can't let that cop-out be what keeps us from pursuing a better truth.
I'm not.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not. But if you think anything of what's actually going on under the scenes in the government that we're aware of, I mean...
You mean just the
fucking name anything, I mean...
Since Rob Sell gave the speech about the known unknowns, the unknown unknowns,
well,
and all the other
fucking
unknown
aliens? I mean, fucking...
Yeah.
it's just they've been lying to us since the 50s, okay? Probably sooner. But definitely...
Forever. It's so entrenched. It's just,
it's our minds would be fucking blown if we knew the truth.
So, in that environment, why hasn't there been an explosive investigative report? Why hasn't somebody come up with the fucking...
Because they
just knock them off before they can even get the information.
Of course. I mean, absolutely. You think all these fucking... I mean, I don't know for a fact, obviously, because I'd be dead, but... You got to know in your heart of hearts that, we're just not going to get to the bottom of all this. Because it's just a tangled, twisted web. There isn't one truth out there.
You know what sticks with me since something you said to me way early on when we first met each other?
What?
Is why do you even think you want to know?
Yeah.
Why are you so curious to get to the answers for everything? Like it's impossible, number one. And number two, why do you even think you deserve it?
I did.
Was a certain attitude you had toward me.
Yeah.
Like who are you to think you deserve the fucking truth of the fucking royal family? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You little peon.
Well,
and to a certain degree, that stuck with me the whole time because
it's true. Right. I'm right there with you. I don't deserve.
You're right.
Like who the fuck are we? What have we done in our lives to know any kind of truth to that fucking level?
Who the fuck are we not though to say we deserve it?
We don't.
Why not?
Why don't you deserve the truth? Just because you're an American?
Don't you deserve the truth as a human being?
But the truth of what, though?
Of all the manipulation, the obfuscation, the fucking games being played against us.
But you think it's just a game against you because they want to fuck you around?
No, I just think it's advantage taken by one.
Well, absolutely.
Human over
and that's what the whole fucking government and what big fucking businesses and corporations. I mean, everything you think about from day. I mean, it's just everything is so. I don't know. I think you're seeking for this truth. This
I will always believe that there is some vigorous energy sitting down there fucking being obfuscated that wants to come up and say, here's what really happened.
Well, of course, everybody wants to know, they always say that, there's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. Everybody wants to know what actually happened, but at the same time, it's true, I truly feel that way. Who the fuck are we to know, I can't think right now of some big fucking...
And it's not even important. The important part is, the entitlement, the reverse entitlement sits in my craw at all times, thinking, who am I to even...
Well, and I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to minimize you, but it's just the way I see it,
But
I don't think
it's how are you to think the Obamas were going to fix the universe? Who the fuck are you to even put that expectation upon them?
Right, and it's not their fucking job, I mean, we're not privy to a lot of things because there's a reason for that.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop on 59 because I think 59 is a very interesting one, and we may have to finish this the next time we start.
Okay.
But employers who create lose-lose situations for their employees. In other words, they don't really give a shit that they're using their whatever manipulation and legislation over their underlings to create situations that just leave everyone with a bad taste in their mouth. Like, why isn't there more win-win-win-win shit going on in the workplace as opposed to reprimands, detriments, and you're 3 strikes now, you're out? I mean, in other words...
And I'll tell you exactly why. Because win-win-wins happen with employees that are just doing their job or doing what's expected of them or even exceeding, okay? That's a win. The only reason why those lose-lose situations are in place are for when they need to get rid of somebody that doesn't need to be there anymore for whatever reason, and that is how they legally are able to say, fuck you, you're not going to work for us anymore because your, shitty attitude is clouding our environment, or your, the way you talk to women, we don't really like, you haven't really done anything too wrong, but we feel like you're not, contributing, so we're going to make a lose-lose-lose. The only reason why there are lose-lose-lose situations are so they can legally fire your ass because they don't want you around. For whatever reason that may be. I'm not saying it's always justified. I'm not saying, but that's why they're there.
And do you feel like there are as many win-win-win situations available if you're towing the correct line?
But that's the thing. It's not places of win-win-win. It's just do your job, come to work.
In other words,
have a job.
It's keep your job or go on the shit list.
Well, play fair or play right or play how you're supposed to play so everybody can get along. Or be a fucking, are you part of the solution or part of the problem?
So do you think that over 100 members signing a sheet that they wish they would hire me back has any clout with what happened to me in general?
No, absolutely not. But
it was touching to know that it happened.
Well, yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is no...
But it's irrelevant.
Very irrelevant.
In fact, it's the kind of entanglement that is better avoided altogether than even entertained for a second.
Right.
Because then all of a sudden I've got power that nobody else has because somehow I was brought back by the people like some fucking series saved on
but that wouldn't happen anyway,
But you see what I'm saying? Like, no way would a corporate...
no. They got rid of you because
I was trouble enough.
Yeah, somebody thought...
I was inevitably going to be more trouble than I was worth.
Yeah.
So better cut ties right now.
Yeah. It's the safer thing to do. Yeah, and there is no such thing as win-win-win with corporations. You're just doing your job and still having a job.
See, I hate to think that way.
But it's the fucking truth. I mean, I just know this working for a big corporation. They made a fucking big pretend check for me and took all these pictures because I got all these big kitchen sales lately. So they ordered, my new manager went and said, this will be great. This will really, bump up people's spirits. Like I won the fucking Publishers Clearinghouse or something. Then they just took it back from me. I'm like, what do you want me to do this check?
Is it better that never happens, though? I mean...
I get it. It's nice. But the older I get, the longer I work there, I see right through it. I know what's going on. But, I appreciate for what they're trying to do. But at the same time, like, I'm just doing my job and whatever. It doesn't really matter one way or the other.
In the long run, that's the best attitude to have.
It's just realistic.
Just a relationship of cooperative tolerance.
Straight up. Like, we need you here to make us money, and you're going to be here and not make too much of a stink. So we're going to see past your faults to a point where we can bend some rules maybe just to make it all work if we have to, but we really just want you to cooperate and do what you're supposed to do and do this and do that. And
is Michael Bush still there? Sorry, did not mean to.
He is, but
I've definitely talked about him on the podcast.
Oh God, don't even get me started. He's still bending the rules.
I was curious if he'd been reined in at all more than anything.
Well, they say it, but no, nothing's happened to change any of that. So we're on better terms, me and him, but that's just because I chose to be. Yeah,
but okay, let's finish with that.
I got to pee.
That's the perfect thing. All right, then go pee, and then I'm going to ask you one question before you leave. Pause. So, as we finish the last thought, what you said is that you have allowed your relationship with Mr. Overbearing to evolve to a point of mutual consideration beyond the stance you've taken with him before.
I wouldn't call it mutual.
How much of you controls the relationships you have with all the people around you. Because I would ask you to say, isn't that about the same way that you treated me? Like, that you have given me certain bandwidth at which to
that's
enable...
how it is for everybody.
Really?
Well, maybe you don't see it that way, but that's how I see it. I mean, I let people into my life as much as I want, each individual, and I give them...
And with every individual, it is a unique assessment as to how much they're going to be allowed in initially?
Absolutely.
So
Still,
you
not
have
even
a trust
initially.
meter that fires off or something?
Well, there's just... I mean, I am genuine. I'm an open book. I am who I am.
Right.
But
That's how
at
I
the
see
same
it.
time, there's just certain ways that I don't want people to be in my life. And if I feel like it would be invasive and unnecessary for some or not even, important for others. So I only share what needs to be shared or allow people what
you can reasonably expect to feel safe within.
Well, yeah, because there's one thing I learned in life: the more vulnerable you make yourself with, the more people
will come to take advantage of that.
Absolutely,
especially as a woman.
Well, just in general, yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, fair enough. But I think as a woman, your on guard there has to be 100% vigilant.
I'm just glad I didn't cut my hands on the top of the tuna lid while I was washing my hands.
Listen,
but there's a gear deli train full of Band-Aids. I'm going to help me in case I did.
The ways in which I'm uniquely cool are my own. Just because you keep your tuna lid somewhere other than your bathroom sink makes you different. My God.
But then
all of us opening cans with our left hand are glad that little tab pulls up like that.
Hey, I didn't even have a can opener yesterday, so...
So, how much of that tool have you used on me?
Well, I don't really feel like you're... There's some people where...
Come on now. It's fine. We're being fair here.
There's some people where that doesn't apply. That doesn't apply to you. In the past, yeah, absolutely applied to you because I wasn't even sure about you in my life, let alone my friend. But now I don't...
Are you saying our filters have lowered?
Yeah, I don't have anything to hide with you. I've been like...
Yeah, I can't imagine what I would not tell you.
Well, I don't have any reason not to tell you anything.
Okay, well, so if I can just officially declare you...
I completely trust you, is what
my
I'm saying.
one friend.
Yeah.
You really are my one friend.
Well...
Because...
You are my friend. I wouldn't say my one friend, but I don't really have too many people in my life these days either, so...
Well, what I'm looking to is to branch out into a group of like maybe 5 or 6 people who I feel the same way I feel about you. Yeah. Like, at your worst, you'll tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong. And I appreciate that. Because...
Well, I'm not doing it to be an asshole.
No. Every good friend can tell their friend when they're doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, way to kill it, Allison. I love the fucking cookies you made. Those were unbelievable. But if you make a bad cookie, I'd like to be able to be friend enough to say, hey, this isn't your standard. And that's what I feel like you give me. And,
right.
And
well, I wouldn't bring you cookies that I knew were on par.
Hold on. What I would do, though, is offer you cookies that I thought were better than they were, and you'd be able to tell me these aren't as good as you think they are. That's what I'm really saying to you, Allison, is...
That's a shitty thing to say to somebody. There's no need for that.
Do you know how important that is to me? That somebody in the world will look at me and not fall for my jive bullshit and will tell me the fucking truth?
If somebody goes to the fucking... Yeah, but there's certain instances where that's important in life. If somebody goes through... all the fucking rigmarole to go out of their way to not only make cookies, but to make cookies for you, bring it to you, whatever. You'd be a real fucking asshole to be like, you know what? These really aren't up to par with what you're normally putting out. No, you shouldn't even say that shit because the person did all that. And if you didn't think they were good, you wouldn't have given them to me to begin with. You wouldn't have shared them with me if you fucked up the batch.
All right, I have better manners than that.
Right, and I do too. So I only share things that I know are amazing. And if they weren't, well, then there's something wrong with your taste buds.
As friends go, what I'm trying to compliment you as being able to do is to give me a breath of reality in a time when maybe I'm the least receptive to hearing it. Because when I hear it from you, I can't help but at least consider the alternative paths that you're validating. And so the fact that you have been that person since I've met you makes you the most consistent friend I've got.
Well, yeah, thanks. But I don't ever say things like to hurt your feelings.
No.
I would never say anything like "you're a fucking idiot" because of that. I mean, I don't.
And you have that ability. You could push a button and make me sore, and I would feel it. But
I'm just saying, I'm trying to constructively help you be a better person, just like I feel like you do to me. You're very uplifting. You always make me feel... See, there's a difference. So, the motherfucker I work with that I just had to write another statement on, and I don't care who fucking hears this, that they asked me to write 2 statements in 2 days, is he is such a fucking condescending piece of shit. And he doesn't, when at the end of the day, he doesn't give a shit if a customer gets help, if he makes anybody's life easier, because he doesn't care. He never cares. All he cares about are his metrics and how he looks and how he can throw it in somebody else's face because he thinks he's amazing and he's wonderful, and he's not. He's a piece of shit, and I'm sick of his fucking shit. So I don't know where I was going with that,
well,
but what I'm saying is he's never in it to be a good person or to make somebody feel better. He's only in it for himself, always. And there's a few people that I've met in life that way, and I feel very unfortunate that I have to work beside somebody day in and day out that is that much of a terrible person. But those type of people don't ever, they should never get any of your energy or your company or your input or anything like that. But people that are good people that just want to fucking be better in life should always get constructive criticism.
Well, carry on with your bad self, because as far as I'm concerned, the mix of both care and concern that we've shown each other in the time that we've evolved our friendship, I think, at least for me, has brought something meaningful. And so to tell you that and to mean it is something that I might have been a little less committed to a decade ago, or certainly 20 years ago with anybody I was saying the same things to. So now that I have identified you as somebody with whom I am grateful our paths united, I don't take that unseriously. In fact, I cultivate that as much as I can to think of it as a lifelong pursuit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And if I ever meet another person of your quality, maybe I'll have them over and we'll all meet each other together and say we could all be friends. But until that point, you're my one friend, Allison.
Well, thanks. I wasn't really sure what to think about you for a very long time, but I am glad that I, for some reason, saw something inside of you, because honestly, in the beginning, I was terrified of you.
You know, and I think the next 10 or 15 of these we go through might spread some illumination there. But until we really get to Molly's opinion of me somewhere in the top 3, well,
as long as we're at your house, she's fine. But
yeah, next time maybe we'll do this at your house so we can put her on guard.
Oh, well, she'll just bark the whole time, so.
Hey, thanks for coming over to here.
Yeah.
I appreciate you accommodating my injury.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to
I never want to feel like somebody who has to be accommodated, but at the moment, that's somebody who I am. Well, I'm the same way,
but yeah, I felt bad. I should consider probably, but...
Can I hit stop now? You feeling good about this?
Yeah.